Many thanks for joining us today to learn a little bit more about Denarius Metals. This is the cautionary notes. We'll be doing forward-looking statements. Okay, Denarius is an emerging metals producer with 4 projects, 3 of them in Spain, Aguablanca, Lomero, and Toral, and the other one, Zancudo, in Colombia. The first 3 are polymetallic deposits. Zancudo is a high-grade gold and silver project. 2 of them, Aguablanca and Zancudo, coming into production in the next 12 months. Zancudo possibly by the end of 2024, this year, and Aguablanca in the next 12 months. We have a seasoned management team led by Serafino Iacono, Executive Chairman and CEO. Our last success was in Colombia, with Gran Colombia, currently called Aris Mining. We were mining for almost 10 years in Colombia, and in the last 5 years, we produced in 2 operations, Marmata and Segovia, over 220,000 ounces of gold per year. So it was a really successful operation. And then we made the decision to move to polymetallics because we had a really long experience with gold and silver. But since 2020, we made the decision to switch to polymetallics, and for that reason, we went to Spain. So capital structures, we trade in 2 stock exchanges. The main one is CBOE in Canada, under the symbol DMET, and the other one is OTCQX under the symbol DNRSF. Currently, we have around 75 million common shares outstanding, of which around 22% in the hands of the management and board, with Serafino Iacono holding around 22%. Then Aris Mining has another 14%, and the remaining, the 64%, is in the institutional and retailers' investor hands. So we can start with our flagship project, the Aguablanca project. The Aguablanca project is located in the southern part of Spain, the Extremadura region, is right 88 kilometers away from the second project we have in south of Spain, Lomero Project. Has been considered this is still a really strategic acquisition for us. Aguablanca was in the past an active mine, was the only, and this is still the only nickel mine in Spain, was producing nickel copper concentrate with cobalt, platinoids, and gold. It's one of the very few, anyway, nickel mine in Europe. As said, was an historic producer from 2005 up to 2015, was run by Lundin Mining through an open pit mining. Then what we have in place, we have a 5,000 tons per day turnkey processing plant. The current mining plan, as we switch to underground mining, so due to that, we have around 2,500 tons per day for Lomero. So it's a really, for that reason, Aguablanca is considered a strategic acquisition. And at the moment, we have the environmental and the mining permits in our hand, and we are waiting for the dewatering permit, which should be granted in the next couple months. So we'll be, and we expect it to be in production in the next 12 months. As I said before, the processing plant is in really good condition, almost ready to go, and the mine, as soon as will be dewatered, will go in production. This is a few weeks ago image photo of the processing plant in Aguablanca. Looks very well. In March 2024, this year, we prepared an updated mineral resource and reserve estimate for Aguablanca. The mineral reserve estimate stands at around 4.7 million tons, grading 0.67 nickel, 0.59 copper. And then we have a little bit of cobalt, platinoids, and 0.16 gold. The two grades for the two main metals, nickel and copper, are pretty consistent with the grades from past production. So, which makes the new mining activity really interesting. What we have in terms of contained metals, we have about 70 million pounds of nickel and around 62 million pounds of copper. At the same time, we prepare a pre-feasibility study. These are the main figures from that study. So according to the 4.8 million tons, the tons cover around 6 years life of mine, according to an average life of mine processing rate of about 2,400 tons per day, which is allowed by the current mining permit. In terms of total payable production, nickel is around 500,000 tons over the life of the mine, and copper stays at around 15,700 tons. Economics are really interesting. Life of mine net revenue after refining and treatment changes stays at $480 million. A life of mine all-in sustainable cost for pound of nickel is $4.04 after tax discounted. Life of mine cash flow 106 million, and it's the NPV after tax 5% discount 83 million, an astonishing after tax IRR of about 213%, and a payback period of 1.2 years. We already have an off-take contract agreement with Boliden in place. And then we move to the second project in Spain, Lomero Project, polymetallic project. This image shows the location of Lomero Project, occurs in the Pyritic Belt, the Iberian Pyritic Belt, very close to one of the most famous mines in that belt, Aguatenidas, currently mined, operated by Sandfire. They are mining around 20,000 tons per day underground from 3 mines all nearby. And the other one is a 50-kilometer away, still really famous, Rio Tinto mine. The green path in this image shows the path from Lomero Project to Aguablanca. As I said before, 88 kilometers. That allows us to fast-track the development of the Lomero Project project by avoiding building a processing plant, which means speeding up all the environmental permits. Within the Iberian Pyrite mineralized trend, and see where the Aguatenidas mine stays, we have 2 permits that makes the Lomero projects. They cover 600 hectares, Palmarejo and Lomero Projects. The pink area within the Lomero Projects permit corresponds to the historical mine, because Lomero was an historical mine. At that time, up to 1990, and at that time, they mined pyrite to produce sulfuric acid, which is one of the best things for us because all the beauties in that deposit stayed still there because they were not interested in the base metals, gold and silver. As I said before, Lomero was a former underground mine, 6 levels developed along 1 kilometer strike length. This one is the mineral resource estimate prepared at the end of 2023. The resource estimate is split in 2 categories: indicated resources and inferred resources. So we stand about 7.7 million tons in the indicated category, with a copper equivalent grade around 2%. What is really interesting in the indicated is the grade of gold, which is the highest grade for a VMS deposit in the entire Iberian Pyritic Belt. And even in the inferred, it is still pretty high, and copper stays around 0.7%, zinc over 1%, and lead getting closer to 0.5%. This mineral resource estimate is based on around 56,000 meters of drilling, of which 47,000 have been drilled by Denarius. So the current mineral resource estimate, together with the 2,500 tons per day of a plant capacity available in Aguablanca, will form the basis of a PEA being completed by mid of October. We move to the third project in Spain, Toral Project. Toral Project is located in north of Spain, close to the Glencore zinc smelter, Asturias. The zinc is located in a well-mineralized historic mining area and proactive jurisdiction. It is still a polymetallic deposit, a really high grade in zinc and lead with some silver credits. Denarius recently announced an agreement to acquire 100% interest, and this agreement has been cut with Europa Metals. Europa Metals prepared in November 2022 his first mineral resource estimate based on around 16,500 meters of drilling. And you can see the grades. 2 categories, indicated and inferred. Indicated 7 millions with about 8.9% zinc equivalent grade. With anyway, some silver, 29 grams per ton, which means about 6,600,000 ounces of silver, around 350,000 tons of zinc, and another 260,000 tons of lead. And as you've shown by that image, the deposit is still open along strike, and we have another couple kilometers to be drilled. So there is a huge upside in exploration. But anyway, what we have right now is still really interesting. And then we shift to Colombia, where the Zancudo Project, as I said before, is coming into production in the next 3 months. We are doing all works to prepare the mine because it was a past producer. The plant is in country, so has to be mounted. But anyway, we are on the way. So Zancudo Project is located in the Cauca Belt, the famous Cauca Belt region, just 30 kilometers from Medellin by paved road. The project covers 4 concessions, around 1,000 hectares, including the historic producing Dependencia mine. The Independencia mine was producing up to early 20th century, and over the entire life of the mine, around 100 years, produced over 2 million ounces of gold. Really high-grade project, gold and silver. If you look at the inferred mineral resource prepared late in 2023, we have around 4 million tons of ore, grading 6.5 grams gold and over 100 grams silver. So, and we have to be highlight that this estimate was done at 1,900 gold price, and now we are at 2,600, and silver was 25. So we have a pretty big upside in terms of metal content, just recalculating the resource estimate using the current price of gold. This resource estimate was based on around 40,000 meters of diamond drilling done partially by Gran Colombia in the past and Auam Gold. These are the numbers of the PEA done at the same time of the mineral resource estimate. So the 4 million tons covers 10 years of mine life at around 1,000 tons per day. Astonishing net revenue, 1 billion, at 1,900 gold price. Then life of mine all-in sustainable cost of about $1,060 US, 266 million of cash flow, 206 million NPV at 5% discount, another terrific IRR, 287%, with a payback in 1.2 years. We have just completed an exploration program, drilling program, 10,000 meters in the two main areas where we have most of our resources, was infill drilling. Infill drilling proved multiple high gold and silver grades, which means confirming the continuity and extending the mineralization of the main structure. So that means we will have much more than the 1 million gold equivalent resource estimate we have, and we can also convert most of the inferred resources to indicated resources to guide the mine development. So why invest in Denarius Metals? 2 projects coming into production in the next 12 months. We have most of the critical raw minerals: copper, zinc, lead, nickel, gold, silver, cobalt, platinoids. We are in all our projects in the right jurisdiction, Spain for sure, but even in Colombia, due to the proximity to Medellin, high grade, a seasoned team, as I said before, we have a proven track record of success, mainly in Colombia, with Gran Colombia, and we are committed with long-term ESG strategies. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. 2 interesting jurisdictions, and the combination obviously would be language rather than perhaps the law, I don't know. But if we look at the company structure here, would it be 2 different P&Ls, or how do you control those 2 different geographical areas?
At the same time, same group, same people,
okay,
working a lot, more than 24 hours per day, but doing pretty well.
But basically there are 2 different, let's say, cost areas, or
yes,
yeah, okay,
yes,
yeah,
for sure.
So if you're head of Colombia, you're head of Colombia, and if you're head of Spain, you're head of Spain.
Yeah.
And so there would be difficult to find synergies, I take it, apart from getting up the metal in this respect.
Not really. Didn't say no.
And if we look at the workforce environment, Europe is not renowned for low costs, but perhaps skilled workforce. But given the fact that Spain has a lot of other activities, is it difficult to find skilled people? Is it difficult to attract people to this industry?
I would say where we are in Andalusia, there are a lot of really skilled people because Andalusia was and is still the best area for mining in Spain. So there is a lot of tradition, culture in the mining.
So it is natural for anyone in Andalusia.
Exactly. Everybody understand mining, and nobody is against mining.
No. Okay. And if we look at you're a Canadian junior company, and you have activities in Euro, and then you have activities in Colombia, EI, peso here. When it comes to FX, is it more translation, or do you have a system to handle those? Because obviously you will have costs in the local currencies.
No, but we have a lot of experience in Colombia. And anyway, we are in Spain since 2020. So we understand very well Spain. We are European, I'm Italian, so we can understand perfectly the two systems. I've been spending over 10 years in Colombia, so there is no problem in that way.
And if I'm not mistaken here, you have some sort of off-take agreement with Boliden?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
And how did that happen?
Was something that came up suddenly, and was very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
We've been visiting Boliden operations in Finland, a week ago. Astonishing. So we are very glad to be one of the partners of Boliden.
Yeah, it's just
and it's really important because at the end of the story, under the Raw Material Act, we are producing in Spain, Europe. We are selling to our concentrate to another European company and smelting in Europe.
Okay.
So the circle is closed.
So, yes, and it's in Europe. So.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. Very enlightening. I thank you for that. Thanks.